how far are intelligence agencies with this whole tech, right? Are they so far ahead that whatever you put, they are already in, or they can just crack through, right? So it's
I think they're quite far off. I mean, there are, or there's a recent news in the round that some number of bitcoins had been stolen by some bad actor, and then the FBI was able to recover all those bitcoins. How do they recover bitcoins? So suppose the blockchain is supposed to be only like it guarantees complete anonymity. You know that someone has sent, someone has purchased, someone has added a block, someone has added a new block to the chain, a miner has created a new block. You know who, you know their address, etc. You know all the shit, but you don't know their private keys. Unless you know the private keys, you cannot get. So how did the FBI know? Like they said that they paid them off, etc., or they got them, but I mean that's up to everyone's judgment as to does FBI actually have backdoor, or do the agencies actually have backdoors to such systems, even the crypto systems, which are considered to be more secure.
you mentioned the dark web, right? And that's an interesting thing. A lot of people may know, some people may not know, right? But dark web seems to be this really dark place on earth, sometimes shown in movies and on certain TV shows, right? Have you, I don't know if I can ask this personally, have you seen the dark web in terms of, from your work standpoint of view, in terms of monitoring and then obviously designing stuff, right? That's the first question.
Yeah, yeah,
Second,
yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, so second question is, I've heard, I don't know if this is true, people who scan the dark web, maybe from their work standpoint of view also, it takes an emotional drain on them because they see things which are insanely. I mean, the people. I heard that people are sold on dark web. I mean, human trafficking happens, etc. So I mean, it's really a dark place. So how? What is the dark web as such in the first place, and your experience? Second is, how do, I mean, the whole human aspect of it? Like, how are people who are monitoring that? How is it affecting them?
Essentially, most of them use Tor browsers and protocols and ports which are not the common. So your normal website, the Zoom and etc., uses some port, session initiation protocol (SIP), and if it's VoIP, it uses HTTPS over SIP, TLS over SIP, and then you also have your normal website hosted on HTTPS, essentially your 443 ports. Then that dark web is essentially a whole network of systems which uses different set of protocols, and the access to that, the way you get access to that is of course you. It's also a different way of getting access to that, and mostly it works through Tor browsing and peer-to-peer networks, etc. So it is, I mean, there is all the shady and undercover underground activities that happen there. And of course, as I mentioned, that selling of private data, private information, card, bank information as to account numbers and login and passwords. And the percentage says there's also a percentage column which shows how valid, how legitimate is that. So, and also we do have a constant feed. We have tools and applications which essentially feed from that to our detection, intrusion detection systems. They actually see if those credentials, those username password combinations are actually being tried on our front end. And we do know that someone is actually monitoring that, running scripts of that, and actually pushing them and targeting our front end system. So yeah, this is a valid concern, but that's always going to be there. But yeah.
See, I think a lot of ethical people also like use dark web, right? But where they want to like say maintain anonymity or
Yes, there are ways. Again, there are against authoritarian governments and all that. Say, which are authoritarian governments who are monitoring actual web connections, actual what people are speaking to each other, etc. This is an avenue which gives them anonymity and lets them actually talk and discuss and probably do something about the government. And so, yeah, it has its pros and cons, but largely, mostly cons.
speaking of the government thing, like the whole recently we had this Pegasus thing going on in India, right? Where a lot of data was apparently being monitored and stuff like that. So you want to shed some light on that?
That wasn't recent. I mean, it did come out again recently, but it was actually 2 years back or something, that when the first initial list came out and all that across, not just India. There were multiple journalists across the world who featured on it, right? And I think it has been covered by most of the news articles pretty well. So apparently, it was I forgot the name of the company. I'm missing the name of the company right now.
I think it starts with N. Not sure. The Israeli company, right?
Israeli company which put out that tool application. Essentially, it starts off with a phishing link. It starts off with the Nigerian news again. So it starts off with someone sending you a message, and the moment you click on it, there is a redirection to any portal, any pop-up that comes up, redirection to a web page opening up or something. When you click on some ads or while watching a streaming version of a soccer match or something, you click on some ad, pop-up start coming up. Even that didn't happen. That doesn't happen with that, and then essentially it has root access, like more than root privilege, and in fact, so from a software security standpoint, from your operating system security, you actually have rings of trust. So you have ring 0, ring 2, ring 1, ring 2, etc. The ring 0 is essentially where all your boot process systems run when you're booting your system. So you have some certain programs that run and start up your system. Then in your sector 1, you have your antivirus and other protection tools which run. Then in sector 0 also you do have some security tools that run. So and then ring 4 is essentially your actual web applications that you use and desktop applications that you use. Ring 4, ring 5, and the outer layer essentially. So this Pegasus actually crept into and got root access completely in the ring 0. So even if you restart your system, restart your phone or something, that's the first program that always boots up along with the boot sector. So there are many other tools actually. Just Pegasus is not just the only one. There are other tools by other agencies that can do the same thing essentially. Yeah. So even your AV or any other tool that you install on your system to actually detect, block, and delete that, stop that process running, would be actually starting up after the process is already run, right? Since it's one of the first process to run when your system starts up.
I think you mentioned that other agencies also have similar tools, and all of those are there, right? Gets me back to the point that how far are intelligence agencies with this whole tech, right? Are they so far ahead that whatever you put, they are already in, or they can just crack through, right? So
I think they're quite far off. I mean, there's a recent ransomware news that was in the rounds or there's a recent news in the round that some number of bitcoins had been stolen by some bad actor, and then the FBI was able to recover all those bitcoins. How do they recover bitcoins? The blockchain is supposed to be only like it guarantees complete anonymity. You know that someone has purchased, someone has added a block, someone has added a new block to the chain, a miner has created a new block. You know who, their address, etc. You know all the shit, but you don't know their private keys. Unless you know the private keys, you cannot get. So how did the FBI know? Like they said that they paid them off, etc., or they got them, but I mean that's up to everyone's judgment as to does FBI actually have backdoors, or do the agencies actually have backdoors to such systems, even the crypto systems, which are considered to be more secure.
So speaking of FBI, like there's the whole thing about blocking your what do you call the webcam? Like one FBI agent is assigned to you and he's watching you all the time. Maybe he's attending podcast also. Hey, FBI agent.
Yeah, I mean that goes out. I mean, webcam is still okay. It's still connected to my system, and I can control as to what access. But IoT devices, right? Your baby monitors, your Nest devices in your home. Nowadays, things are picking up. Things are starting to operate like on more robust protocols and protocols that can actually be secure, um, and running newer algorithms, running newer encryption methods, etc. But the older devices and older cameras that are probably manufactured in China or something, you don't know who else has root access, right, to those systems. They're ultimately some Raspberry Pi device or something running some version of Linux or something, probably in the backend, and who has root access to that. So yeah, it's up to you to make sure that you update and patch and update everything out there. Any system, you make sure that your firmware, your anything that's connected, essentially, you make sure your lights and your smart lights ensure that their firmware is updated constantly if at all there's an update. But yeah,
But as a cybersecurity expert, right, knowing that all this whole dark world, I mean, there's obviously a good side to it also. Do you find yourself borderlining, like in terms of everything you see, you go, like, okay, fine, I know this could be a possible attack, so let me just kind of block it. So does your vision kind of just go into the direction like general humans, like we all who don't know, like the ignorance is bliss kind of thing? Maybe like, okay, fine, just click something here, right? But do you find yourself and the whole community by itself, right, the cyber security committee, like are they like so damn this thing that it kind of just borderlines in terms of, okay, enough, it's fine, let them get it, it's okay, I can't do this more?
no, there is. I mean, you can do how much ever you can do. I mean, you do what you can do, and then you have your controls in place. You have defense in depth, as I told you, and then if case someone gets through, even after that, hire them. Probably. I mean, that's one way to get about it. But yeah, there's a concept in, for example, there's a concept in cybersecurity called honeypots. Honeypots is essentially, I have some systems, I have some servers, which essentially I put them out in my, so even in an architecture, from an architecture perspective, you have your external internet zone, you have your DMZ, it's called the demilitarized zone. So essentially a mediation zone, which is between the internet and your actual internal systems. So three zones essentially, and you have firewalls which divide your whole network into those three zones. And then you can have some systems called honeypots or honeynet. As in, honeynet is essentially a group of such systems which are group of honeypots. It's called a honeynet, a network of honeypots. An attacker actually looks into that. For him, it seems to be like a storage server or network attached storage which has actual legit sensitive data in it, and he tries to hit that. At the same time, we are monitoring as to who is actually coming in. So that's why they're called honeypots. So it seems juicy for the adversary. Then again, what do you want to do with that information? Are you okay to take up a fight with an adversary who may be more smarter than you, who may have actually the skill set and the capability and the backing behind him, probably from a state actor, to actually hit your systems? And do you want to actually like hit the hornet's nest or something, beehive or something, hit a stick against a beehive? Do you want to do that? Yeah. So yeah, but we do have systems. Then there are different ways, like it boils down to the ports and protocols which things are supposed to communicate on. Ensure that only those are open out to the network. If it's a web server, ensure it's only 443, not even 80, not HTTP, it's only HTTPS, and ensure that it's using the highest, most recent and most modern algorithms and cipher suites for data in motion. So as long as you do that, you should be sure, and then you have your logging and monitoring, right? So there is a way of actually determining as to only legit actors coming in.
Cool. So I just wanted to ask, there are a lot of times that we try to go to some websites where we want to say download some music. There are those fake ads, pop-ups and things like that, and it's a lot of times that we click on close on so many things, but at the end of day, like, you don't know like what that exact pop-up was and shit like that. Native normal antivirus that are there in systems, say Windows Defender and all that, like Do you think that's like capable of fighting against stuff like that, or?
I think the native stuff nowadays with the stuff that is sold, stock, essentially stock software, stock antivirus, and that is sold with their operating systems that you buy is capable of doing that, providing basic protection. And Google, I think, has a very good. I don't know if Chromium is doing it, I think, and I think Firefox is also doing it. Which, even if the website is hosted on an HTTP, it's allowing HTTP colon backslash this thing www.xyz.com. It automatically defaults to HTTPS. Even if you have typed HTTP, it automatically defaults to HTTPS. So the browser itself is doing it. It's actually the server side stuff that should be allowing only HTTPS, for example. And even for transferring a file, it should allow only SFTP. That's FTP over an SSL connection. So there are companies out there which are actually taking measures against it. The downloading songs and downloading movies, and when you're watching your say a soccer match on some streaming site, and those links pop up, those are essentially adware. That it's not exactly spyware, it's not exactly malware. It may be malware, but those are generally adware, because if you click on the link also, they're mostly a shopping site that opens up. Right. So they are adware, and you do have, from an enterprise standpoint, you do have applications and tools that can even block adware too. So you have ad blockers on your Chrome browser also, which can essentially do the same job. Yeah. So it is advisable to actually get those, because you don't know what you're clicking on, right? So it is advisable to install those ad blockers, have basic, from a layman standpoint, ad blockers, and then you have your LastPass essentially to keep a track of all your passwords and just remember that one password. Yep.
Is there any story that you can say, or you can tell us and the viewers, right, in terms of some crazy attack? I mean, not name people, but some crazy attack that you kind of were a part of the whole thing, and then how did you defend and all of that stuff?
We do see regular, like on a regular basis. In fact, if you, from an enterprise standpoint, we do see the kind of attacks that are actually taking place. We can actually see it live, what kind of a exploit is being run and how we are thwarting that exploit. We do see that happening almost on a daily basis. From a large scale attack standpoint, we think back, and it was public actually, like our systems had gone down for quite some time, and then we saw that there were a huge set of DDoS attacks against denial of service, distributed denial of service attack against the systems. And then the application team was scaling, like there are ways of thwarting a DDoS attack. Either you stop the attack, so get to know who the adversary is and stop the attack, or you scale. So you have your content delivery net, you have a Cloudflare, and you have many other websites. You will see a redirection to Cloudflare. You'll see page loading, and you'll see a Cloudflare icon. Or you have your AWS and Google also, they have their own CDN, content delivery network. So you essentially, they do the scaling operation for you. So you have thousands of requests coming in. You need to scale your web servers to accept those 1,000 requests. So, but are those 1,000 requests legit? Are you expecting 1,000 people accessing your website in middle of the night? No, right? So, but we were seeing those kind of things, and then that's when we came to know they were actually automated scripted attacks, and we put in a anti-bot. Essentially, it stops automated and automation scripts to be run against your front-end system. So when we put in that, we immediately saw a drop of traffic to as expected. Like nighttime, you're not supposed to be expecting large volumes of traffic hitting your system. So that's when close to 90% of the traffic came down, and then the actual users who actually needed to access their website were able to get it. And that's really neat. You actually see there are people where labor is cheap, right? In India and other countries, there are peoples and who actually sit with an Excel sheet of username password again got from the dark web or somewhere, and they actually either you run a script against the Excel sheet and the front end website, and you run it across multiple browsers so that it gives you only 3 tries, right? So, and you are logged. So you have those logouts. That's also another control against how many times a user can actually run a script against. So they do have those, but we have tools which can actually uh, look at mouse movements. There is a certain way that a human would move a mouse. There is a certain way that a human actually types in a password. The gap between the keys, each keystroke is fixed. It's a determinant for a human actor. Whereas there are algorithms which have determined that for a bot actually typing in the password or moving the mouse from the username field to the password field and to the enter icon, it's different for an automated for a bot. So there are tools and applications, security tools, which can actually key off that, and they can determine if it's a legit user or if it's a bad actor, if it's an automated bot hitting a system. So we did that, and it was all hunky dory after that. Yeah.
At times, I'm sure you would have been sitting and thinking, when an attacker attacks, right, you might for a second think, oh, this is a smart move, right? I never thought of it. Like,
Yeah, you do. I mean, of course, you do see in your forensic. That boils down to when you go back and actually analyze and create a root cause analysis report and etc. You see the chain, it propagated and all. I haven't seen that in. I mean, thankfully, systems are robust enough that I haven't seen that extent in my place of work. But in the lab, in labs and sandbox environments, etc., when you actually test that, we do get to see certain things.
Obviously, like this field has a lot of potential and all that. So so people, if they want to like build a career in all this cybersecurity, and what would the career path generally look like?
Yeah, as of now, like there's a lot of scope, lot of demand for cybersecurity professionals. There is always going to be more and more demand because, as I said, right, this is always a cat and mouse game. The adversary is always upping their ante. There are always new tools and new exploits that are being developed. So correspondingly, even the security professional has to actually develop his skills and reskill and constantly retrain himself. So for that, someone who's already in the industry, someone who's already an IT professional, someone who's already in the software sector would probably be, if he wants to put a foot in the door for into cybersec, there are some certifications essentially. There's a body called ISC Square, which uh, stand for International Cybersecurity Consortium, something. So they essentially have multitude of cybersecurity certifications, cloud related, and then certified information security professional is one. Then there are 3 versions of that which go deeper into like into engineering, into architecture, into actual management. And then there is a auditing stream wherein you become a cybersecurity auditor, wherein you just that's a little non-technical, and it actually you end up auditing your cybersecurity controls for either your company or for a third party. So there are multiple certifications. There is, and then if you want to go into the hacking part of things, there's a very good certificate to start off with called Certified Ethical Hacking, CEH, and that essentially starts you on the path of offensive security. And then there are ways to get deeper into that, of course. Then even forensics, cyber forensics has its own set of certifications, and so essentially it gives you all with the knowledge that you're already, since you're already working from an IT background, it gives you further inroads as to how you can build on or put your foot in the road for into cybersecurity. That's one way to go about it. From someone who's already someone who's in undergrad, or someone who's in the college already, or someone who's in college, there are multiple LinkedIn Learning and what's it called, A Cloud Guru is another platform which I use even now. LinkedIn Learning is which I use even now, and multiple YouTube videos which actually show you exploits, which actually show you how to uh, run password cracking tools on Linux operating systems. And so there are, as of now, if you wanted to become at this stage, if you want to become a computer science engineer or an IT professional or a cybersecurity expert, hacker, you don't need a college education. Everything's available on the internet. There are multiple online courses. There are a Cloud Guru is a neat platform. They actually give you a sandbox to actually stand up the servers and create your whole web servers and actually uh, integrate your logging and monitoring and authentication tools to that in the whole sandbox environment. So that's really neat. And yeah, labs are essentially hands-on is what I would suggest. Hands-on is always best.
I have a personal question. You're into this martial arts, right? And so, do you see any parallels? And maybe being a cybersecurity person, right? You know the whole process, right, in terms of attack and defense, and then how do you kind of be proactive and all? Do you kind of take some things from here and then apply it there, and do you kind of take some things from there and apply it here?
I mean, yeah, that's financial training. I'm still in my green belt now in small circle jiu-jitsu and Brazilian jiu-jitsu double stripes. So yeah. So as you said, attack and defense, right? It's the same thing that you're doing even at work, and the same thing that I'm doing there too. So it's all the same thing. You essentially know who your adversary is. You're always aware. That was that friends thing that you say. It's unagi. So you're always. It's the same thing. Attack and defense. That's what. That's the only parallel I can see. Yeah.
But maybe subconsciously, I think you will be like, maybe your mind is kind of this
Oh yeah.
thinking
Aware
on those
of,
lines. Yeah.
If someone pisses you off, then you're like, hey, this guy is a hack, like a, or that unethical hacker. Let's butcher him. Back the fuck out of him. Why is it called dark web, man? By the way, like, isn't it racist?
I don't think so. Yeah. I think that, as Abhinandan said, right, it's all dark shit that happens there. So yeah, that's the reason probably. Yeah, and it's under the cover and under the covers, and people are not actually looking into it.
Could it be that any agencies recruited you as a cybersecurity expert? I mean, you never know.
I mean, yeah. Who knows? Probably Abhinav here is one, right? He's acting all nonchalant. He's acting all as if yeah. He's just asking the questions, and yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll write a wireframe script, then we'll watertight it with your some analogies and like jargons and shit like that.
Yeah, but I think it's a scary world, right? What world are we heading into, right? Everything is like all over the place. People are like hacking. People are like, everyone's against each other now.
No, it's going to be anonymity, right? People are going to be, like you look at a forum such as Reddit, right? Who is who in Reddit? You never know. Facebook, still you know people and all. I think we are heading towards more of the Reddit kind of world wherein everyone has a alter ego, alter person. Like everyone is known by their, I mean, probably induce crypto blockchain into that too. I mean, everyone is known by their address. Everyone has a pseudonym. Everyone has a address, and that's it. And more of a freelance world wherein if you want some work done, some cybersecurity work done, or any work done, you hire that address, that person, that pseudonym, and then you pay him through again crypto or something. Yeah, so it's all going to be we are heading towards that world wherein every individual is, you have your private keys to you, everybody knows your public key. Yeah.
When people talk about data privacy and like when the whole Facebook thing came out, they just know that, oh my god, like my data is being used without my permission and stuff like that, but they actually don't know much about what is being done with that data and stuff like that. So there is a huge outcry for no reason at times, right? So I mean, like, first of all, like, they're the ones, most people, they're the ones who post their photos and everything on Instagram on a public profile and stuff like that. And on the other side, people talking about these kind of things, right? So like people don't know what what exactly data privacy is, right?
I mean, you can say it's onus on the people, like they should be more aware and all, but as a big behemoth that Facebook is, that it's a huge organization, they should be actually more, at least forward with it, more making the people more, spreading more awareness about it, probably advertising about it, that yeah, we use your data here, which they're not going to do that, obviously. So since it's very hard to say that yeah, people should be, because it's a democracy, like it's a huge, you're dealing with billions and billions of people in your organization. At least you can train them, you can send them false phishing campaigns, you can send, ensure that people do not click on that, and if they click on that link, you would send them for a training or something. But with general public, how much, there's only certain extent that they can do, and you can expect them to do. So it's up to onus on the organization, actually, on people like Facebook and Google, etc., to make the audience aware that yeah, this is the shit that we are collecting, which I think they have started doing a better job at it, I think, at least.
Yeah.
Because you get to know more of it, you're more aware. In fact, uh, if not Facebook, your Apple device or your phone tells you that these apps have access to your microphone, your camera, your photos, etc. So you can cut it off at the uh, host operating level itself, or you can cut it off at the app on the Facebook, on individual apps itself. So yeah, I think there is a better job that's being done, or an effort at least. Yeah.
Or maybe when you cut it off, do we really get cut off? We
I
don't
think
know.
the
On
question
the
will
UI,
always
we're
be
cutting
there.
it off. Back end, you never know.
Yeah, Neo never left the Matrix. Yeah, he's always in the
Yeah.
Matrix. Yeah.
I think at times when we listen to this conversation and we talk about it, it feels like okay, fine, nothing can be done. It's okay, let's just go back to leading our lives, right? That's
I mean, yeah, that's a general. But there are people who have more to lose than us with their data being public. So that's again back to Facebook and those people who took onus is on them to actually get their ship straight.
Yeah, awesome. I think yeah, that's more or less what we had in our mind. It's like you want to say something, speak about something.
Oh, no, that's good. That's good. That's a nice talk. Nice talking to you guys. I mean, this is a really good shit that you guys are doing. And I did speak to Panda also about it and heard a few about the Europe and the Europe episode and other episodes. Yeah, fun, man, fun.
yeah.
There's
I'm
actually there's a it. I kind of see you guys modeling it around. There are podcasts, stuff you should know is on podcast, which comes to mind.
Yeah.
My house stuff. It's howstuffworks.com.
how stuff
It's a
works.
yeah. So modeling it around that, it's really good plethora of topics to cover. Almost everything under the sun is that you can talk of. So it's really good. Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, amazing 101, right? On this, hopefully we can, hopefully we can get you to speak about like the 201s and the 301s on each specific topic on the further podcasts, right? This is
Oh
a
yeah,
101
sure,
kind
sure,
of a
sure, sure.
thing.
Yeah. I mean, actually, if you see, there are podcasts which are dedicated to cybersecurity alone. There's Risky Business is one of them. Then Security Weekly is one of them. There are actually podcasts which that's another way. Like someone who is already in cybersecurity and wants to retrain and make sure that he's in touch with his shit. Listen to podcasts. Listen to, make sure you read news from Brian Krebs and all these people who are at the forefront of cybersecurity. So listen to those podcasts, and you get to know as to what are, if they go into very details, such as the patches that are released every Tuesday on your Microsoft operating system. What were the patches actually targeting? What did they actually do? They go into every detail, amazing detail there. So there are individuals. So cybersecurity is again a huge thing. So yeah, but this is a really good forum and really good way of actually giving the public at least basic information as to basic shit what needs to be done.
Thanks a lot, like his name is, for viewers and listeners, his name is Pawan, but I think like the whole world knows him as GPK. So because G Pawan Kumar. So, and it's like it comes easily to like mind, like GPK. Okay, it's fast. Yeah, rolls off your tongue. So yeah, man, thanks a lot, GPK. And I think we should have one more episode with GPK for the whole bodybuilding and
Yeah,
those sort
the
of
fitness
things.
thing. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
correct. That's the fitness thing. Also.
Yeah, viewers and listeners, this guy is big time into fitness and stuff like that. So
There are far better people. I'm sure there are far better people than me. Yeah, I just not drank. I was drinking beer on your on your podcast, which isn't exactly fitness, but yeah.
Watch out, UFC. GPK is coming.
Yeah. Cool, man. Nice talking to you guys.
awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys. Don't forget
Yeah.
to subscribe, share, like, and
And we'll
press the
link
bell icon.
GPK's handles below. So if anyone wants to become more cyber aware, please follow
Please
him.
don't stalk him on LinkedIn and shit.
Send your resume. Yeah.
Yeah.